Good morning, everyone. Thank you for coming to our State of the Industry address here. We're so excited to have our first executive event. As you have noticed, one of my favorite words is community. And I found so much value in talking to people across so many different aspects of the Salesforce ecosystem. But I also, as an admin, find so much value in connecting with other admins and hearing those brainstorms on the same issues that I am facing. And so we wanted to create an event where our decision makers in the crowd could connect. So here we are today. We have got a wonderful panel whom I am not going to introduce. I'm going to let Chris introduce them in a moment. But before we get here, I wanted to give a word to our sponsors. So sponsors in the crowd, if you wouldn't mind standing up. Yes, here, we'll start.
Okay, great. I'm Jess. I'm with Investigo. I oversee our Salesforce recruitment practice here in Denver. Please come stop by our booth to get to know us. We love being a part of this community and meeting everyone. And I did not get the cool shirt memo today, but really happy to be here and a very proud sponsor of Mile High Dreamin'.
Justin Lowell. I own the Salesforce partnership over at IntelliStack, formerly known as FormStack, proud sponsor also of Mile High Dreamin'. Please do come visit us at the booth, learn more about the new kit we've got, Zero Copy Data Fabric, Hot Fire.
Yeah. Yes.
Okay.
Hey everyone, I'm John Clarkson. I'm here with Canidium. We're a consultancy based out here out of Fort Collins, proud sponsor. We work on revenue optimization, both on platform and integrations across other systems. So we're right outside that door. Come see us. Love to chat.
Hey everybody, I'm Matt Frank from Blackthorn. We are events management, payment processing, and SMS, completely native on Salesforce. We are proudly sponsoring Mile High Dreamin' for the second year in a row and can't wait to do it again next year.
I love hearing that. Thank you.
Hey everyone, my name is Lloyd Mason. I'm with Nutrient. We are a document solutions company. It's our first Mile High Dreamin'. We're really happy to be here. If having the functionality of Conga Composer, Microsoft Word, and Adobe Acrobat natively in Salesforce sounds interesting, come see me at our booth.
Hi, good morning, everybody. Ben Novoselsky from Data Groomer. We're sponsoring Mile High for the second year. Very proud of that. Data Groomer is a tool that cleans Salesforce data from duplicates and bad data and does it with the help of AI, so no effort is required, and it's a very easy and simple tool. Come check us out. We're like at the very corner over there. Thank you.
Good morning, Kevin Tiernan from Sweep. Sweep is a visual workspace and agentic platform for managing all of your Salesforce metadata. So if anybody here wants to get some clarity on what's happening with all of their metadata, every element of it, get some documentation, figure out all the problems, come and see us. Happy to get you a free trial version. Also our second year sponsoring and hope to be back next year. So thank you.
Hi, good morning. My name's Jason, also late. I'm with Form Assembly. Long story short, we help humans talk to your business systems, right? We create forms to gather all of their data to put into Salesforce to run automated workflows and all that good stuff with super complicated forms. So thank you so much.
Hi, everybody. My name is Michael Pipa. I work with a cybersecurity company called WithSecure. Happy to be here as a sponsor. In essence, what we do is anti-malware protection. So think files, emails, URLs. If you've got those coming into your Salesforce environment, it might make sense to scan those for any malicious content, and we help with that. And we're just right outside that door as well. Thank you.
Wonderful. Did I miss any of our sponsors in the room? I don't have Hike 2 here this morning. They are also wonderful, and you should talk to them. And we're missing Tejas as well. So anyway, thank you so much to our sponsors for making all of this possible. We appreciate you. And with that, we are going to go ahead and get started here. We've got a couple of questions that were pre-submitted that we will go ahead and start with. And then after that, We would love to see more questions coming in from Slido. You can go ahead and submit your questions, upvote questions, talk about what you would like to see. If you see that I had a question, if you see your question up here and that it has been condensed, I was not censoring you. There is a character limit, so I apologize if I missed anything important in your question. I did my best. And with that, here we go.
You're doing great. You want to keep going? Oh, okay. Introduce the panel.
Introduce the panel. I'm going to make this work.
Oh, okay. Well, I'm going to introduce the panel then. Obviously, you met Jessica Petersen. Jessica, do you want to talk about anything specific about you or your experience in Salesforce?
Yeah, I've been in the Salesforce ecosystem 6 years in recruitment, both contract and permanent resources across sales and delivery. So whether you're an SI that's looking to meet your headcount and revenue goals for the year, or an end user that's really looking for cloud and industry aligned talent to drive your projects forward, I'm happy to help.
Excuse me, Justin Lowell, again with IntelliStack. I think we've kind of laid it out via the demo jam. We're offering a new, this streamlined product to provide a CLM functionality on top of the forms, DocGen, e-sign kit that we've got. We're finding a lot of opportunity in consolidation right now. People doing vendor consolidation, spend consolidation. Yeah, happy to help.
Stephanie Hagan. I'm the CEO and founder of the CRM Firm. We're a Salesforce implementation partner based here out of Denver. I get to lead a team of about 40 lovely humans, few in the room, so say hello if you see them running around today. And then also I own an ISV called FirmWorks, where we take product to market on the AppExchange. And I've been in the Salesforce ecosystem over 15 years. Starting to date me.
That's on me.
Hey everybody, Josh Birk. I'm with Salesforce. I've been an evangelist there for just under 15 years. I've been in the ecosystem for probably closer to 20 years. I'm an evangelist. If you don't know what that means, it's okay. My dad still doesn't. It's fine. I'm going to keep this simple because if I start listing off the things I've done at Salesforce, I sound like Jon Snow listing off his credentials in front of the Queen. But basically, evangelism is a role where we work with our community and we work with our product managers, lovely people like Larry here. Thanks, sir, for coming. And basically, we're a lot of education. We do a lot of technical enablement. We do speeches, we do keynotes, we do webinars, we do workshops, we do content creation to try to make our community successful.
Awesome. Thank you is this working? Okay, if not, I figured you guys could hold that, and then I can just sell you products from my commercial. Yeah, and if it cuts out, I'll grab that. So thank you all for coming to this event. Again, it's kind of an MVP. It's our beta. It's an event for executives to kind of meet with thought leaders, but that's what's happening about the state of the industry that we're all in and we all care about. But the real reason I invited you here is obviously to purchase Agentforce. So we're going to pass out contracts, and this isn't me. This is Uncle Mark. So if you just sign on right now, it's going to get more expensive, but we promise that it's going to work. So. Safe harbor, thank you. Well, let's get to the questions. The first question. Galen, you're just killing it. I feel like you should be doing this. Yeah, all right, Galen's going to do it because she's so good at this.
All right, everyone. What is the most significant challenge or opportunity affecting the Salesforce ecosystem today? As you're ready.
Sure, I'll take it. We do have a new Agentforce app that's live with agent actions. I do think Agentforce is going to be a significant part of Salesforce's future, as we kind of had a nice allusion there. I also think that with all due humility, our streamlined product with its capacity to connect to Salesforce as a data source and write out is going to change the game for a bunch of different use cases. So I'll leave it at that.
From a recruitment standpoint, I would say, there's obviously been a lot of talent in the market, very senior talent on the market for a bit longer than usual over the past couple of months and year even, since Salesforce has been, trying to right size from, 8% growth from what has typically been 20% growth. So that's great for you guys, but there's also, a lot of applicants, right? So what that means for organizations is having to spend a lot of time sifting through those applicants and really being inundated and trying to respond to everyone. So that's a little bit difficult if you're finding yourself in the job market, but it's starting to change over the past month. Things have been really great. We've seen a lot of candidates with multiple offers, rates and salaries climbing a bit more than they have been over the last 3 to 6 months. So I think that's a positive sign, obviously, even though it can leave a lot of you hiring in a bit of a pinch. It means, for us, it's a great time to work with you and understand, what projects you're working on and provide that talent really quickly. Coming to these events and meeting with people and getting a better understanding of what they're working on, what their core competencies are, allow us to really connect you with that talent really quickly. And I know that when you're having hundreds of applicants apply to something, it's hard to understand who might be the best fit. So that's where we come in and help, whether you're an SI or an end user, on the sales side as well as delivery.
So we're seeing a couple of different things. From the implementation side, our customers are buying Agentforce because they have really great AEs and they sell it to them, and then it drops in the team and everyone's like, oh, it's automagic. And I'm like, it's not automagic. It takes time. So that's kind of one of the first challenges we're seeing. The second is the business users don't really know what AI is. So we're doing a lot of enablement. If you take away anything from this, enable your team, do a session, bring in someone to educate them on what AI is. Because you're asking them, how can I help your job? And they're like, well, do my job for me. And then they don't want to tell it because then they're like, I'm going to lose my job. And all those things are false. So enable your team, do a session just teaching them what AI is, and then ask them the question. Like, now, what in your daily job is repeatable? And those become agents, and also not agent magic, or automagic, as we like to call it. You actually have to design them. The third thing we're seeing is there's so much AI out there. So we've got Agentforce. I was just on a call yesterday. They have 4 other AI solutions. So we got Box AI. We've got Fireflies. We've got all of these AIs that are entering in, and then you have your AE who installed another one just to test it out. So we have data sprawl. We're trying to figure out how to pull all those together, put it through the trust layer, making sure it stays within in compliance. So being really organized, intentional, and understanding what your users are using and pushing out that AI policy.
What she said? Automagic, really? If it was automagic, I'd be out of a job. So, I mean, honestly, I think AI is the biggest challenge for almost any industry right now. For Salesforce, I think I was not really joking. Like, literally everything you just said there. It's a confusing territory when it comes to purchasing. It's a consumption model that's new to Salesforce. It's new to Salesforce users. But it's a technology that's moving faster than almost anything I've ever seen. The first presentation I ever did I think I get TDX and Dreamforce mixed up a lot. It's a occupational hazard. But I did basically, I'm not going to talk about Agentforce or Einstein Copilot, I think it was at the time. I'm just going to tell you about AI. And half of that presentation was wrong within a month. Like, that's how fast this stuff is going. And exactly like what you're saying, it's hard to know how to implement this stuff if you don't have the foundational knowledge of what this stuff actually is. The good news is that's changing. I did a presentation in Chicago when we first started rolling out, but then Copilot. It was about 50 people, and I asked them, how many people here have used AI. And about 5 people raised their hands. And about 2 months ago, I did almost the exact same presentation for about 50 people. I asked how many people have used AI, and about 5 people didn't raise their hands. So the adoption rate is crazy. And whether it's Agentforce or ChatGPT or whatever, it's getting into our lives. And it's getting into our lives in a weird way where eventually you're going to be using it kind of like we use Google these days. Like you're just going to be using it whether you know it or not. So to pose that challenge, we have Agentforce workshops. They are free. They are virtual. So you can sign up for them at developer.salesforce.com and at admin.salesforce.com, and I highly recommend them. You will get a free edition where you can have Data Cloud and Agentforce enabled. And also, if you're familiar with my old friend Developer Edition, it has Agentforce and Data Cloud enabled now as well. So the one thing I always tell people is just go in and start playing around with it. Get your hands on it. Even with just AI, if you haven't pulled up ChatGPT and played like 20 questions with it, like have it tell you a dad joke. Just use the conversational UI and eventually it will click as to why this is a new generation of technology.
Thank you all. And before we move on to the next question, I do just want to point out that these questions above our panelists are all things that you submitted. Actually, no, I lied. The first one was a plant. That was my question. I just wanted to hear what you guys thought. Get the conversation started. The rest of them are real questions that you all submitted. So please do go through, add anything that you would like to see, upvote anything that you think should be at the top of the list, and let's keep the conversation going. All right, moving on. What would you recommend are the delineations of problem solving that can be accomplished by a human versus AI as companies create value in the ecosystem?
So again, a little bit of what she said. There's this, I don't like the concept that AI is a human, that AI is a virtual employee, that AI should be treated like just another member of your team. AI is something that can enhance, it can augment, and I'm trying to think of the exact phrase you said, but it was like, what can be automated? What can be made faster? It's the same questions you're already used to asking. Like, why did you implement that flow, and why was that flow successful? The difference is the tool, it's not the question, and it's not the answer. The tool is very different, and how you configure the tool can be very different. But I will give you a preview of the talk I'm doing at 1:30. I was working on our version of Agentforce that we use internally to do content, and I created a custom action that could take a PDF and summarize it. It would tell you the title, it would tell you the author, it would tell you the intent, it would grade it on professional quality, and all these things that we look for when somebody submits a blog. And so then I sat down with the wonderful Eliza Riley, our content editor, and I was showing her this agent, and she's like, that's really cool. And as soon as she said, that's really cool, it just clicked in my head, and I'm like, you already do this in like a nanosecond, don't you? Like, she can read a PDF really quickly, and she knows what a good blog post looks like. So she's already faster than that agent. So it was a fun little thing to do, but we never implemented it because it wasn't going to be faster for Eliza. I was actually going to be adding time to her calendar. And so those are the kind of questions I think we should be asking.
So we're seeing some interesting things, some good use cases for your users where we had to build reports. This is an easy, like what we're seeing out in the field. What are my top customers, or who spent the most last month, or whatever data is already in Salesforce, Agentforce can look at and answer those questions. That's a great use case. Put it in place today. Get away from reports where you can and enable your users. They're used to asking ChatGPT already or Google these questions. They can do that. Where we're seeing a great example of what it can do, we're already seeing people generating code out there. And then it drops into these Salesforce Works, and it's supposed to do X, Y, Z because ChatGPT wrote it for him, right? So we're cleaning up that code, or we're reading, right? Reading the code and saying, yeah, that's not right, or that's not best practices, or so it's not going to automate us out of a job on our side. So I think that's some of the big takeaways we have.
Totally agree. Seeing a lot of similar things. I'll call out this is not maybe an exact direct response to the question, but human in the loop is a phrase that I'm using for myself a lot. Sort of the reluctant human in the loop. Hey, I don't want to have to approve this agentic post or this automation, but it's not there yet. And so, I think all of the concern and hubbub around like, oh my goodness, it's coming for our jobs. No, yes, I see it as a force multiplier. Another use case, right? Agents doing like conditional intake. So like scoring an inbound lead and passing it to an internal human resource for follow-up. Yes, in that particular conversation, I'm also calling out to the customer, I think in time, you will be automating the outreach part here for many of your opportunities, but in the current state, they prefer a human in the loop. So.
Yeah, I agree with everyone here. It's really just a cost-benefit analysis, and ultimately, what is going to add efficiency for your business, putting together those proof of concepts and getting an understanding of what that's going to look like. And really, for us as a company, we all have our own AI tools that we love and utilize, but we're even evaluating tools internally. But, like Stephanie said, we're all the data's in different places, and we're all utilizing disparate tools. So it's really getting that data prepared and understanding, what's going to work best for your organization. Personally, I use AI for note-taking. As you can imagine, a lot of my job is meetings, speaking with people, and then just summarizing those calls, putting together follow-up, and building efficiency into my day-to-day, drawing up SOWs or MSAs, which is great. And I think, for a lot of customers, it's the same, but really a lot of the efficiency has been built in from a customer service and omni-channel routing perspective, and those are some of the most successful use cases we've seen with Agentforce implementations across our clients recently.
Wonderful. Well, continuing the conversation on AI. AI is speeding everything up. How can you deliver impact at a time when new technologies force companies to pivot initiatives every 2 to 3 months?
Oh, gosh. Yeah, it's really tough. As we mentioned, things are changing daily. So really just iterating and being able to adapt and pivot as needed is very critical. We all are really excited about this transition and change and want to utilize it in our daily lives, but you also don't want it to take over. It can't do your job for you. You have to really still be very involved, and I'm never gonna send a customer a resume of someone that I haven't already spoken to and put together myself. And I would say, for all of my customers, that's something that they're gonna have to look at too, and really dig into, what is best practice and how do we utilize this and deploy this effectively and ethically.
So for me, I lead off all of my partner calls with what are your new priorities, kind of presuming that things have shifted since we last spoke, even if that was just last week or sometimes last month. AI, I think, is proving effective in my role to help me. I'm thinking about our work together with SaltClick, turn around POVs, a better together story at scale, identify, from longer lists of prospects, what are the best fits, stack rank them, score them for me, justify that ranking, provide the products that are in scope, provide the use cases and the stakeholders and the value that accrues to those stakeholders. That's a lot to do for a long list. AI is kind of the only way I can do that at scale. I do feel, and I don't know if anybody else in the room feels this way or if this tennis metaphor is going to land at all, but I feel like I'm in a place where I hit the ball back across the proverbial net, and before I can finish my backswing, the ball is halfway back toward me. The pace is not for the faint of heart, but I really like that part of the work. So I think being able to adapt to the changing priorities, to me, is part of the value of the partnership, is how can I adapt to those changing priorities.
What if I'm a photographer and I run out in the backswing? For everyone who saw that. We're really taking an agile approach. So not looking too far out. We're looking very short term, very quick wins, and getting software out into the user's hands. So very, week, 2 weeks, we're delivering software to our customers, to the business users, and making sure it has an impact. We're also looking at KPIs. We're measuring how many times an agent was used, how much time we're asking the questions up front. What is that going to save you? So that we can actually see the ROI and measure it after, and then reevaluate, is it being used? And if not, why? So just rapid deployments.
Yeah, just kind of layer on that, because it's like a lot of this, again, is stuff we've already learned in tech. Move fast, but don't break things. Moving faster than everybody else isn't always the best way to put it. My first skip level in this job was Paul Kapacki, great guy. And one of his warnings to us is sometimes we drive faster than our headlights. So kind of going to your tennis ball, metaphor, sometimes it's really hard to keep an eye on the target if you're moving too quickly. And just to reiterate this point, learn, baby, learn. Like AI is changing quickly. The tools are changing quickly. Our features are changing quickly. Like, part of my job is to know what we're rolling out before you do, and I'm not doing great at it right now. I'll be quite honest. Like every now and then there's an internal announcement about X, Y, and Z, and I'm like, that should have been on my radar. So I'm having trouble keeping up with this. So I can only imagine our community is as well. And the only way I can soften that blow is we're here to help. Right, so that's kind of where our team comes into play, is to kind of give you a single point to come to. Jen Lee does her mega blog posts for the release notes every time we pull them out. They're wonderful. Just keep an eye out on our information so that we can keep you in the loop.
All right, I'm going to pause here for a moment so that everybody has a chance to keep up with the questions. And I know that the next most upvoted one was, what is your favorite Salesforce mascot? So I'm going to give you a moment to catch up on questions while you answer the burning question here. What is your favorite Salesforce
Dominique's
mascot?
right there. All right, I'm supposed to say Cody because I'm an old school developer, but I got to say Astro. I'm OG. I go for the original.
I'm going to have to go with Einstein, because at Dreamforce last year, we dressed as Waldo and the wigs, and I never thought my debut on TV would be in the Einstein wig. It was excellent.
Also a vote for Einstein here.
Mine is also Einstein.
Excellent. All right. So many new folks have the Agentforce status levels without a Salesforce background. How do our years of experience compete with less expensive consultants for so few jobs?
Yeah, that's a good question. I always say experience over certs. While it's great to, start out and start to get your hands on experience and build some proof of concepts and really understand what's happening. I think it's more beneficial to have that hands-on experience than their certification, but it's a great place to start. And it's free, so that's nice too.
I'm going to sort of opt out of answering this question. I don't think I can give a very good answer.
And that is completely fair. Nobody is obligated to.
I think it's
answer all
also
the
very
questions.
case dependent, like, or role dependent. What is the role that would help me answer that question more.
From our side, it's back to the coding. Like, we see that where people are using ChatGPT and things, that it really takes our experience and our knowledge of coding or business to really look at the results to see that they're efficient. So certs are important, but they're only one aspect.
Yeah. First of all, the certification process is incredible. And so I have a lot of respect for the people who do get into that program and do keep up that program. We actually, early in my career at Salesforce, certs were not great. There's kind of widespread cheating. It was very easy to get a cert. People would just get into a room together. They would group, and Salesforce looked at it like, no, that's not our goal, and they completely tore it down and built it back up again. And now the program it's simply amazing. So I would never say don't go get your certs. I think first of all, I think it's a great learning experience, and it does look very good on a resume. And when you're on LinkedIn and you have somebody who's got just that number, like I have 15 certs, it's like that's somebody who's put in the work. On the flip side, I have found in technology, kind of what everybody else was saying, that people come from all avenues. One of my favorite guys, a really good friend of mine, college dropout, brilliant in tech. So your background isn't so as much as important as the work. And I've had a lot of people come up to me with the chicken and egg problem as developers. Like, I'm a junior developer, I'm new to the industry, how can I prove to people that they should hire me? And certs is one way, but certs it's not open to everybody. Not everybody can take the time, and not everybody has the money to do it. And so what I tell them to do is pull up a developer edition and start building. And that's your resume. Like, come to an interview and be like, I built this, and this is how I built it, and you're more likely to get a job than not.
So we were limited in the characters. I'm going to see if I can clarify this one a little bit better. The question was a little bit less about certifications and a little bit more about what I'm finding as someone who's highly active in our Agent Blazer community. There are a lot of people out there who are quickly completing our Agent Blazer statuses. Great, now I'm an innovator. Some folks now going for Legend. That's all they know. And I spend a lot of time with folks who are even like, what's Salesforce? How do I log in? But they're able to complete even the statuses, maybe even the Legend. Who knows how they're getting that far? Great. Now I'm an Agent Blazer innovator, champion, Legend. I am going to hang out my shingle and tell people that I am a consultant and I can implement Agent Blazer. Or I can I've gotten my free certification. I am now a certified Agent Blazer, or I have status, I have a certification. I am going to be a consultant. I am in a place where the labor is less expensive. There are now hundreds of thousands of however many people who can do this offshore in different places, $10 an hour, $25 an hour. I definitely cannot compete with those wages, with that hourly rate. So as we know, for some of us who consult, rates have come down. You did say rates were coming back up. I'm not sure if I've seen that yet. How do those of us who've been doing this for 15 plus years compete against what's becoming a larger and larger number of people who are certified, who have been pushed now into the very easy path of anyone can do this, get a certification. They don't have the Salesforce background, as we know, but they are being hired. I know because I'm cleaning up a lot of bad implementations, as I know, so are my vast number of colleagues here. How do we continue to compete against this in the market? How do we educate the customers that are out there? Don't just go for that cheap, implementation. I do raise my rates for remediation, by the way. So, how do we now compete against this? Because there's been a marketing push to get anybody certified. Everyone can do this, but I feel caused some harm. How do we find this balance? How do we continue to innovate and push ourselves to do this, but also do the right thing for our customers at the same time? That was really hard to get into the 10 characters I had, and I'm sorry for the very long question that required all that, but that's where I was going.
And did you have an add-on to that?
Perfect, Janine. I think your value, okay, this is my perspective, is your business knowledge. And then later on, the Salesforce after. You can't, I could speak louder. Oh, sorry. And later on the Salesforce or ServiceNow or whatever platform after. Don't get me wrong. I'm dying the wood, what do you call it, Salesforce. And I started configuring 20 years ago. But it's the business knowledge applied to the platform that makes you valuable in my mind.
Thank you. Yeah.
Oh, by the way, all those others, it'll come out in the wash.
I'm going to bring you back up there in just a second.
So I'm on the other side of this as someone who's hired the consultants for the last year for different things. And we ran into two very different circumstances. Circumstance number one was a very experienced agency that did a lot of great work with us for our Sales Cloud implementation. Then what happened was I decided, okay, we're going to go with account engagement at the time for our marketing. I'm the director of marketing. And they overpromised. And so we spent thousands of dollars with an organization that had a bunch of folks who were Salesforce knowledgeable, but not account engagement knowledgeable, right? But because they had a relationship with us, they saw some money there, they went after it. So that relationship ended. Our Salesforce admin lives in Texas. She connected with some consultants through her network through Texas, Dreamin', and all of that. We get in with a different agency, consulting agency. And in that particular agency, it was very interesting in that, and let me add to one of the things you said, I work for a medical tech company, so we have an FDA cleared product, so we have HIPAA, we have all kinds of interesting data that's passing back and forth and that we're recording about clients. So we actually put a line in the sand and said, we're not gonna look at any international, anything like that, like you have to be states-based because of the types of security protocols of our data. So just throw that out there. The second agency hired probably, I would imagine they have a fleet of just out of college kids and sold themselves very well. And then every step of the way, we found out we were burning, I think it was 3 to 1 or 4 to 1 hours of consulting for every 1 hour of work delivered. So of course that we ended up compromising on everything we wanted for the implementation. The only thing I could tell you now is in order for us to come back and want to work with a consultant, if you have a portfolio or something that is showing why are you different? Because that's the thing that we actually had a really hard time with. We vetted 6 different consultants and it was really hard to tell why people were different as from the buyer side. And I think the other thing that I would highly recommend is your candor. The kind of person you are and the way you're talking in this room. If we had somebody on the sales side from the consultant being that honest with us, we're the kind of people. It's a company full of engineers who are incredibly direct. Let me tell you, we respond very well to that, as a matter of fact. And so just on the buyer side, that would be the only other thing I would lean into as a differentiator, is as someone who, like I said, in just 12 months, multiple consultants that we've talked to, and there we go. And the other thing is, have some empathy for us. You know, I was telling the same story to somebody in the hallway yesterday, and I said, yeah, we're probably migrating to Marketing Cloud. And they were like, oh, you're going to do it in-house? I was like, bet. Because somebody said that to me. I was like, but it's not to say I'm married to that, but the fact that a consultant in the industry responded to me that way, I was like, well, challenge accepted. How many certifications do I need? Let's go, right? And so I think everything I'm hearing from you today is fantastic in terms of like the empathy and the wanting to help a client succeed. And I would really just lean into that. Because like I said, I'm the person who's been on the other side of what you're experiencing, you know? Not on the recording. Somebody come find me and I'll tell you how the first consultant time really ended.
Well, wonderful. Thank you both for those answers. Do we have? Okay, wait. Not until you're holding a microphone. No saying words until you're holding a microphone.
So here's my 2 cents. Having been a consultant for many years and now being on the client side for about 4 or 5. One of the key things that I've seen is that there is the empathy from a lot of consultants, and I've known a lot of consultants that genuinely want to help companies out. But there's a question of incentives, right? There's the whole question where I have my certain disagreements with the partner program and the fact that it's so based on your tier status, based on the number of certifications you have. So you can just upskill, put these people through whatever program you can so they get the certification, so they get the partner status. And so they become more popular. And it's all great to empathize and have all the best intentions in the world, but at the same time, we live in a world of billable hours. Whether it's flat fee or whether it's time and material, it's billable hours. We have to ship a product, and there's only so much time. So the challenge always becomes that incredible juggle of here's how much time I have to be able to do this, and I can sit here and put all the empathy I can as a line item in your SOW. But the challenge is that then the customer is going to be like, well, this is too much. What I don't know. I'm not going to pay all this money for all these things. Are you insane? And then they'll end up going for the hungrier teams and consultants and everything that are going to slash the price down and be like, oh, no, we can do in a quarter of this. And then next thing you know, you're in trouble. It's a tough cycle because there are a lot of well-intentioned people out there and well-intentioned companies. But it's just tough because at the end of the day, this stuff costs money. And, as a company, it's tough to justify the spend. But at the same time, as the implementation consultant, it's tough to be able to really dedicate that time, right, and not cost yourself, hundreds of hours of, incur that cost yourself on your back. So that's my 2 cents.
Thank you. All right, panelists, anything to add? And by the way, we've got about 10 minutes left here, so I want to finish up on this question, and then we've got 3 questions tied to go up next. If you have some burning thoughts on what we should answer next, we're going to make it a brief one, but get your votes in quickly.
I will keep this short because, is this on? There we go. I will keep this short because I'm the worst person to answer this question. I started my career in the boom days of what, we used to call it the World Wide Web, and it didn't sound weird then. We were surfing it. I'm not really sure where that term came from. And I actually ran into the opposite. What I ran into was people who were charging $90 per hyperlink. And I think everybody in this room knows how garbage that is. And the weird thing is, I was coming to clients as an independent consultant, trying to give them what I thought were reasonable rates. And their attitude was the opposite of what you're running into. They're like, well, you must not be very good if you're cheap, basically. And I'm like, yeah, but I can do this in 2 hours and only charge you for 2 hours. I was horrible on the business side of things, and I fled to State Farm into corporatehood, and that's where I've stayed ever since. But I will finish on this. There are a lot of people in this world who can identify a gold rush, and AI is a huge gold rush. And when we see things like, go learn to be a prompt engineer, first of all, I hate that term. And second of all, you can make $200,000. It's not a sign of a healthy system. That's a problem there. And eventually it will self-regulate.
I think leaning into I've been in consulting 23 years now. The market will right size. It will push those people out. We saw it with the admin bust. Like, everyone get admin certified. You have no experience right out of college, and you're going to make $100,000. We all heard that. That is not true. So we saw it. Now the market will right size. We just have to wait for it. I'm really sorry. I apologize for customers. I apologize for bad consultants and bad AEs selling the wrong SKUs. Like, those are my 2. Every day I'm apologizing for one or the other. And it's hard from our side. And I'm like, you get what you pay for in consultants. And we do a great job. We come in, we're like, we're not going to be perfect. If someone tells you they're going to be perfect, it's run. We're human. We're going to make mistakes. What we do is we make it right with our customers, and we're innovating. We're creating new things. That's what we're trying to do. So,
my quick answer would be iron triangle: time, quality. Like, there's price. You gotta. That's some immutable thing. It is a real thing. And buyer beware. Like, hey, shop smartly. Just because it's cheap, even when it's free, it ain't cheap sometimes. So, I think that message out there, as well as the horror stories, we were just kind of, I asked, I don't know if anybody knows of one. Is there like an informal blacklist for terrible SIs who have done people shady? I know it's a pretty subjective thing, but it does feel like there's a ton of it going on and nobody's learning the lessons. So
knowing where SI firm one, I'm not going to say which one, was. And what I used to do as an independent was, I knew they were there, so 6 months later I would call the client knowing they would screw it up.
Yeah.
And I had a gig. Oh, by the way, I'm sorry. What I wanted to do, your gold rush thing? Yeah. All right. I'd rather be the person selling the doubles for the gold rush.
As a recruiter, I kind of do have the blacklist. So if you ever want the hot gossip on who the bad consultants are doing the bad work, you can always come talk to me. But I also have, a list of great consultants who I've worked with for 6 years who have really found their niche. And that's what I urge everyone, especially people who are just getting into the industry now, to do, is find their niche, whether that's RevOps or Agentforce and AI or Marketing Cloud or Marketing Cloud account engagement or Service Cloud and omnichannel routing. Find what you're good at and what's most interesting to you, and also find an industry, whether it's nonprofit or higher education, and have a couple of different projects that you've worked on and understand the industry and what is really going to make an impact so that you can do good work and deliver. But also, so sorry again for those bad consultants that have done you dirty. And, that is a pitfall that I see a lot. It's very cyclical a lot of times. In trying economic times specifically, clients will say, hey, we can't afford this. We're going to go offshore. We're going to go with, someone that's more junior, and that ultimately ends up costing them more money as they have to re-implement, rip something out, start over. That wasn't best practice. So I just try to have those conversations transparently and let them know, that's fine, you can do that, but you're going to end up paying double. There's really no shortcuts.
All right. We have 6 minutes left. So instead of going into another question, you each have 90 seconds. Ooh. Is there anything that you want to leave the audience with?
I think, it's really an exciting time. There's so many new products, and it's just such a changing ecosystem and exciting ecosystem to be a part of. I love working with all kinds of businesses and getting an understanding of what you guys do, how you use Salesforce, how it's building efficiency in your businesses and day-to-day life. And I want to hear about it, and I want to help you out, and I want to connect you with the best talent to achieve those goals. So come talk to me more.
Yeah, come see us at the booth in 90 seconds. I do seriously think there are a lot of people I see in this room who we should be engaging more with, more actively. I think we can do a lot of business together. I think Agentforce is a massive opportunity. I'm going to call out again specifically our Agentforce app. I think is less hallucination prone than many other Agentforce apps that are being deployed. I would encourage you to think about how our Agentforce tool could help you in your engagements to have less rework to do, less client upset about, hey, we're not getting where we're trying to go. Back to what you said earlier, it's a time to value game. And IntelliStack is here to bring that time to value. Please come see us at the booth. Let us help you.
I'm going to give a little different takeaway back to looking at the audience here. 95% of AI implemented in business is not producing what it intended. More revenue, quicker time to market. So be intentional with it. Train your users, enable them on AI. Also pay attention to your data. Data integrity, data, making sure it's clean. This is not a new thing. Garbage in, garbage out. Still, it's even more important today because you're layering an AI on top of it to ask it questions, and it doesn't know what to do with that hoarder in the closet of boxes that has been put in there. So if you need someone to help make sense of it, we have a lovely team. I'm happy to help it out. Also, we'll give you a little bullshit meter. So if you looking at something and need an honest assessment, happy to do so.
I mean, it's an interesting time, and I think AI has a lot of pitfalls. I'll be talking about some of them around 1:30, and but I also think it's just there's a lot of opportunity, and I do think I'm a proponent. I'm very hopeful. I'm hopeful that as AI becomes a more I'm trying to think of the right. As it becomes a better tool for our lives, it will make it'll be easier to enhance what we're doing. I'm going to cede some of my time. I'm going to give a shout out to Larry, who's talking at 10. Correct. He's got some amazing stuff to show you about Agentforce for setup. And what I love about it also, I was wishing you were behind after my keynote because I was already planning on shouting out to the product there. Well, what I love about this is it's an example of Salesforce adding something to our platform, which is going to be like incredibly efficient for you. So you don't, all you have to do is give it to your users and train them on it and you're done. And it's free. Sorry, Larry, I spoiled that one for you. It's pretty automagic. You're right, exactly. I like it like that. So check it out. And also, we've got some amazing stuff coming at Dreamforce that I unfortunately can't tell you about right now. But this is the Dreamforce I feel like Salesforce is really going to come and show you our intent of what we think AI is going to do for you when it comes to your daily lives and using Salesforce.
Well, thank you all so much for this. It was wonderful to hear all the different perspectives on the burning questions of today. So we appreciate you. And again, thank you so much for coming to the State of the Industry.
And I just want to call out Galen. This was her project. This was her session. She's the brainchild. So thank you, Galen, for taking this and running with it.
All right. Have a wonderful day.